Okay, so as I said in my last video about the fixed odds betting terminals, I was one of the people to be trapped by them. And when I came away, I saw the light. And in doing so, I come across the conclusion basically that they're both immoral and illegal. Now, the only game I played on these machines was one specific game of roulette on one specific machine. That's why it became a duel. It became a duel between me and this machine and this one game. Because despite being a gambler for 27 years, I've never been addicted to gambling. I never could be addicted to gambling. I can take it and leave it, betting on horses, betting on football. It's just a fad. It's just fun to me. But I became addicted only to this one game on this one machine. Crazy. And the game obviously was roulette because it's the game where £100 stakes every 20 seconds are the ones to bankrupt anybody. So I'll start off by explaining why I believe the machines are immoral. Okay, they are obviously very, very cleverly programmed. Okay, and they are programmed to prey on addictiveness. It's as simple as that. And I believe, some people believe that they actually recognize you by fingerprinting methods or whatever. Now, I don't go that far, but I do believe that they recognize betting patterns. And you can be recognized through regular betting patterns because there's so many different kinds of betting patterns you see. Now, the machine also acts, like I said, as all fixable betting mediums do. And they give you wins initially because wins create the addiction to the machine. Now, once they've got you addicted, the machine then begins to play you. Okay? So you've had a lot of wins playing a certain way, and the machine recognizes this, allows it for a while, and then begins to give you losses based on the way you play. So it basically plays you, and it plays you in order to create anger and frustration, because anger and frustration are two deadly tools in the gambling game, because people who bet angry lose big. Okay, it's as simple as that. Another thing that happened, which I believe to be immoral, was not long after the introduction of the machines into betting shops introduced the ability for you to pay by your debit card or your credit card. So they had a method of payment whereby you could put money on these machines using your debit or credit card, because they're not stupid. They know that the local cash machines, most people can only draw maybe 250, £300 maximum a day out of the machines, and they weren't happy with just fleecing you of that amount. So they brought in cash machine payments, credit card payments, and that was the killer. That changed medium-sized losses into monstrous losses nightly, daily for people. I'm hoping that although that was the killer for addicts to these machines, I'm hoping also that somewhere down the line that it'll be the savior, because all them bets made using your credit cards will be registered. Cash bets won't, but all the bets using your card will be registered in people's bank accounts for the last so many years. So I'm hoping that somewhere down the line that these betting terminals will become the new what's the word? Sorry for that, but it's be like the new PPI, okay? The new PPI of the UK. I truly am resting my hopes on the fixed odds betting terminals being the new PPI, and billions have been paid back through PPI, which is illegal. I'm hoping that these betting terminals can be proven. I believe they can be proven illegal and that people can be recompensed. I really hope so. I mean, I watched one man one day come into a bookies, and he was putting £500 at a time on a machine using his debit card. I watched him go to the counter 5 times. That's £2,500, right? He used that to put 25 £100 spins on a roulette machine without winning one penny. I watched that man walk out of that store an absolute broken man. I can only hope and pray that he went straight home to a loving family and learned his lesson. I sincerely hope that's what happens, because I never saw him since. Okay, now I never went that far, but I have to admit that on probably 4 or 5 occasions I've lost £1,000 a night. Not be, I would not have been able to lose it if I could only have played cash. Okay, the most I could have lost would have been £200-300 a night. But because they cleverly, slyly allowed you to use your debit card, it made your losses go sky high. Okay, totally immoral in anybody's book. Now, another thing that's immoral is when they first brought the machines in, there was no warnings whatsoever. About halfway through the introduction of the machines, they started to put slogans on, you know, like when the fun stops, stop, and gamble aware. Now they know fine well that to an addict, that's just the same as going out on the street and seeing a heroin addict slumped against the wall and holding a sign up in front of his face and saying, "Don't take drugs, it's bad for you." They know that it's got the same effect, that an addict is just going to totally disregard them signs. And the next thing they introduced was like self-imposed limits, where you could impose a limit upon yourself, or you could exclude yourself from that particular bookies, whereby you weren't allowed to enter the premises. But that's just the same as turning around to a drunk and saying to him, right, you're not allowed to go into the Dog and Duck. What do you think the alcoholic's going to do? He's going to come out of the Dog and Duck and he's going to walk down the road to the Red Lion and get his fix there. It's just it's just immoral. It's all immoral. There have been no enforced limits on these machines, okay, until the government has now dropped it from £100 spin down to £2, okay, and they still haven't been enforced yet anyway. So there's been no enforced limits, so there's been no enforcement to stop addicts losing hundreds of thousands of pounds. There's been no warnings as to the highly addictive nature of these machines. Now, for the last 15 years on cigarette packets, they have had to have a warning as to how highly addictive cigarettes are. But these machines are just as addictive as anything I've ever come across, okay? But there haven't been a warning. Now, this is crossing from a threshold from immoral to illegal in my eyes, okay? If somebody sells you a packet of cigarettes now without that warning on it, they're acting illegally. So surely, if these machines can be proved just as addictive as any drug or any cigarette, surely, lawfully, they should have a warning as to this addictiveness, and they don't have, okay? So basically, if you add that all together and take into account that I was drawn in, like I said in the last video, by a plant who in my eyes was planted in a betting shop at the busiest time of the week, was given the numbers to play whereby he could turn £40 into £3,000 in full view of 30 people in that shop that day. You take that plant, yeah, and you add all the reasons I've just given you, then there's absolutely no doubt whatsoever, it's indisputable that these machines initially are immoral, okay? The problem is there any recourse for immoral behaviour? I don't know. Now, moving on to what I believe to be the illegality of these machines. These machines are claimed to be random. It is claimed that the numbers on these machines come out randomly. Okay, it's stated on the machine, this machine is random. When you ask the staff behind the counter, they tell you the same thing, that the machines are random. The numbers are drawn randomly, okay? So that gives the impression that everybody has got a fair chance of winning on the machine. But there are so many examples of when I've played and when I've watched other people play of how the machines are anything but random. Yeah, there's evidence. If a clever person stands and watches the machines for any length of time, they will see the clever programming. Yeah, they will see how it preys on the player's addictiveness. Yeah, they will see that the machine is actually playing the player rather than the other way around. They will see that the machine is set up to cause anger and frustration in the player and to encourage angry betting. Okay, so here's some of the examples. Just a handful of the examples I've come across which tell me these machines are not random. I have watched a sequence of numbers on roulette come up, and the sequence was the number 9 came up 6 times in succession. Okay? Right? One after the other, 6 9s appeared on the board. So the number 9 was spun out 6 times in succession. Do you know, right, that the odds of this happening are 26 billion? Sorry, my mistake. They're 2.6 billion to 1. It's a 2.6 billion to 1 chance that the same number on a roulette wheel can be drawn 6 times in succession. 2.6 billion to 1. I once read an article whereby somebody asked for odds, yeah, on the planet Jupiter crashing into Earth, yeah, in the next 100 years, and he was given odds. He was given odds of about 2.5 million to 1. Okay, that means it's 1,000 times more likely for Jupiter to crash into the Earth in the next 100 years than it is for a roulette wheel to pull out the same number 6 times in succession. Does that sound like random to you? Because it doesn't to me. Another thing the machine does, yeah, when it comes to not so much random, but when it comes to playing the player, is this. The numbers, for instance, 1 to 9 are the first third of a roulette board, okay? If you were to cover all the numbers from 1 to 9, but leave out one number, say you leave out the number 5, okay? So you cover 1 to 9 except for 5, I can guarantee you, yeah, that probably 7 or 8 times out of every 10 spins, the number 5 that you've left out will come in. It is guaranteed, okay? That's an example, yeah? You will look at that and you'll think, I should have covered 5. It's the machine has given me 5 because you've left it out of one block of numbers. It's how the machine plays the player. It's how the machine frustrates the player. It's how the machine educates the player as to how to play the next time. This is how this machine works. This is the clever programming involved. Okay, I personally have once had 30 spins, and on the 30 spins on roulette, I have covered the green 0 every time. Okay, every time. As soon as I either take off the 0 or I forget to cover the 0 comes in on the very next spin. Okay, this has happened to me countless times. It's like the machine is punishing you for forgetting to cover the number at 31st time. The machine is playing me. Can you imagine my anger and frustration having covered 0 30 times, then forgetting to cover it once, and the one time, yeah, the odds of the 0 coming out on the 31st spin, it goes into the billions and billions to 1. It goes into the billions and billions to 1. Again, is this random? Is this a machine that I'm playing, or is it a machine that's playing me? There's others, there's more. The machine will sometimes play a run. It'll play the numbers 21, 22, 23. Okay, so you see this and you decide to lump on number 24. You put the largest bet you can on number 24, hoping it will come out. Okay, and then it spins, the number 11 comes out. You think, all right, well, I've lost that run now. It was only a 3-number run. Ah, well, that's life. You'll change your bet. You'll bet somewhere else. I guarantee you 1,000,000% the next number that comes out will be 24. It'll be the end of the run once you've took your money elsewhere. Again, it's the machine punishing you. It's making you think the next time you see a 3-number run, don't lump on the 4th number the next time. Wait for one number, then lump on the 4th number, because that's how the machine plays. You do that, it isn't going to happen the next time either. It's just the machine toying with you, toying with your mind. It's the machine educating you to bet the way it wants you to bet. You're educating you how to lose money, basically. Many times somebody will have a large bet on one number, say the number 7. They'll put the maximum amount on number 7. They'll have various bets. They'll keep that bet, they'll repeat that bet for 2 or 3 times, and the number 7 won't come in. As soon as they take the large amount of money off the number 7, yeah, and go elsewhere, guaranteed the next spin, the number 7 will come in. Okay? These things are happening. I've seen these things happening countless times, okay? To me and to other people. Not happening once, not happening twice, happening regularly, so regularly that it's becoming obvious to me as to how the machine operates. But even when you know how the machine operates, you still cannot beat it, okay? Because there's no profit for the bookies in you beating a machine. Another thing I've noticed a lot and happens a lot is the machine self-adjusting mid-spin, okay? When the ball comes out in a certain section, it's very obvious where it's going to land within 2 or 3 numbers. I have seen the machine with the ball heading towards a large win for many players. And I've seen the machine flickering, the screen flashing and flickering, and the ball moving elsewhere. This again disproves the fact that the machine is random. Okay? The machine is playing the game. It's playing as it goes along. It's playing you. The machine decides if you're going to win or not. You don't decide. Yeah, and the illegality is this: randomness doesn't decide. Okay, the machine is deciding. That's why I believe these machines are illegal, because it's claimed they are random, and it's so easily to prove otherwise that they are not. But is there any recourse? Is there any way people can be recompensed for this? And the problem we have is the machines have become too valuable to the bookies. They have made billions and billions, and because of this, the government, through taxes, have made billions and billions. Because the sad fact of life is, where there's so much money involved, somebody in power is benefiting. So if there's no recourse that way, there's certainly going to be no recourse from bookies, because the bookies are unscrupulous. They're the bookies are allowed to get away with illegality regularly by the government. Okay? The thing with bookies is, when you go to a bookies, yeah, wins are limited. It's limited as to how much you can win, but it's not limited as to how much you can lose. If you go in on a Saturday and put a 10 football team accumulator on, and you put an amount on it, and all them 10 teams win, and you add up all the odds, you multiply, and you think, bloody hell, I've won £874,000, and you go hopping and skipping down to the bookies, and you slam that slip on there, you're going to be met with, I'm sorry, sir, but our maximum limit is 450,000 or £500,000, the maximum you can win. The first thing you think is, well, why did you take the bet on, knowing fine well the bet will pay £874,000? Why didn't you tell me then that there's a maximum allowed to win? And the second thing that will come into your head is, right, so I can only win so much, therefore, to balance the books, I should only be able to lose so much. So over the course of the next year, you go into the bookies every Saturday afternoon, you put £10,000 on a favourite horse, right? Every week you lose, okay? So 50 consecutive bets, your horse loses every time. You've now lost £500,000, okay? When you go into the bookies on week number 51 and ask to put £10,000 on a horse, do you think the bookie's going to turn around to you and say, sorry mate, I can't take that bet, you've already lost 500,000, that's the limit? It's not going to happen, because they have it all their own ways. Your wins are limited, but you can fucking lose as much as you want. You can lose your life, they don't give a shit, okay? Now, the thing is, I also believe that they're allowed to flaunt laws that apply to other businesses, and one being the Trade Descriptions Act. This is going to sound daft, but when you think about it, it's actually true. They've come up with all these, beautiful new ideas, and one of my favourites is this one. You can get your money back as a free bet if your horse falls at the last, or we'll give you your money back as a free bet if your horse has only got 3 fucking legs, yeah? Or we'll give you your money back as a free bet if your horse comes second to the favourite. Okay, so you have a bet and your horse only has 3 legs, or he comes second to the favourite, and you go back in, right? Okay, can I have my free bet now? Yeah, no problem, sir. Right, well, I'd like to put it on. Oh, no, you can't, sir. No. You see, because you're not getting a free bet, okay? A bet is when you go into a bookies with a sum of money, that's your stake. You put it over the counter, you say, there's £10. I want to put £10 on Red Nose Davy. He's running in Kempton and his price is 5 to 1, okay? If he wins, I'll get £60 back. That's a bet. You get your 5 to 1, you get your stake back. A free bet, yeah? A free bet this is the free bet. You don't get your stake money back, okay? You're only allowed to bet on certain things. You're only allowed to bet on certain prices. Okay? So when these bookies are advertising this, get your money back as a free bet, what they should actually be saying is, if your horse falls at the last, get your money back as a free fucking shit bet. Okay? But they're not. They're not advertising it as such. Therefore, in my opinion, they're going against, the Trade Description Act. Okay, when you go to Asda on a Saturday afternoon and you're walking down the aisle and you see the offers and you see an offer there saying, buy one tin of beans, get one free. Okay, when you take the free tin of beans home, and you open it up, do you expect it to be half full, or do you expect the beans to be green? Yeah, or do you expect there to be like a description on it saying, oh, you can only eat these between 2 and 3 o'clock and you can only eat them with sausages? Of course you don't. You've gone in, the offer is buy one tin of beans, get one tin free. The fucking free tin's exactly the same as the tin you just bought, as they're complying with the Trade Description Act. Why can't the fucking bookies comply with this? Yeah? Because they're making too much money, and they're making somebody powerful too much money, and they're making the government too much money. So the gamblers, the fucking idiots have to suffer. Okay? Now, these are the most important videos I will ever make, because they're the ones where hopefully somewhere down the line I can help somebody, especially regarding these betting terminals, because I don't want to take this lying down. Okay, I believe there's illegality involved. I believe there's so much immorality involved, and if there's any good lawyers or solicitors who just happen to pass by this video and want to have a think about what I'm saying, feel free to get in touch, because I don't mind being the guinea pig. I don't mind being the first to put my hand up and say I want my fucking money back. Okay? Anyway, sorry to get so stressed. Right. I'm going to go now. Until next time, feel free to share and subscribe. Okay? Take good care of yourselves. Stay away from the bastards.